Mina looked up at the unfamiliar stars. To understand. That is the Celadonian way. We seek knowledge above all else. And now? What do you seek now? Mina was quiet for a long time. I am uncertain. Meeting you has raised questions I never considered before. On the 5th day, the ship's damaged receiver picked up a signal. A Celadonian vessel was approaching the planet. They must have tracked my personal beacon, Mina said. They are coming for me. Jin felt a strange heaviness in his chest. That's good. You can go home. The Celadonian ship landed the next morning, sleek and perfect, unlike Jin's battered cargo vessel. 3 tall Celadonians stepped out, their blue skin gleaming in the sunlight. Their leader was older with silver streaks in his white hair. Scientist Mina, he said through a translator. The embassy informed us of your location. We have come to retrieve you. Mina bowed slightly. Commander Taewoo, I am grateful. The commander looked at Jin with cold black eyes. This is the human who interfered with your mission? He saved my life, Mina corrected. Commander Taewoo examined the damaged Star Runner. This vessel cannot be repaired with our technology. It is incompatible. Then I'll need passage to the nearest human outpost, Jin said. The commander turned back to Mina. We have orders to return you to Celadonia immediately. Our mission parameters do not include transporting humans. Jin's heart sank, but he nodded. I understand. I have emergency supplies. I can wait for another ship to pass by. Mina stared at the commander. You would leave him here? Alone? It is not our concern, Taewoo replied. The human situation is unfortunate, but logically irrelevant to our mission. This planet has dangerous predators at night, Mina said. I have observed them. Without shelter, he will not survive until another ship comes. That is regrettable, but if you leave him, Mina interrupted, her voice suddenly firm, I will stay as well. The other Celadonians looked shocked. Commander Taewoo's eyes narrowed. That is not a logical decision. Perhaps not by Celadonian standards, Mina said. But I have learned there are other ways to make decisions. She moved to stand beside Jin. His emotional human reasoning saved me when Celadonian logic would have left me to die in space. I will not abandon him now. Jin stared at her in surprise. Mina, you don't have to do this. Your people can either take us both, she finished, or leave us both. The commander looked between them, confusion clear on his face. This defies all Celadonian principles. No Celadonian has ever chosen a human's welfare over their duty. Then I will be the first, Mina said simply. As the sun set that evening, Jin and Mina stood together watching the Celadonian ship prepare for departure. After hours of debate, Commander Taewoo had reluctantly agreed to take them both to the nearest space station. Why did you do that? Jin asked softly. You could have gone home. Mina turned to him, her expression softer than he had ever seen. Told him, I am beginning to understand something humans have always known. What's that? That sometimes, she said, her 6-fingered hand finding his. The logical choice is not the right one. The sleek Celadonian ship glided through space, its engines humming quietly. Inside, Jin sat uncomfortably in a chair designed for a different species. Beside him, Mina spoke rapidly in her native language to Commander Taewoo. Though Jin couldn't understand the words, the tension was clear. The High Council demands to know why you insist on bringing this human to Celadonia, the commander said finally, switching to the translator for Jin's benefit. No human has ever set foot on our world. Then it is time for change, Mina replied. Jin saved my life when his people told him not to. He risked everything for someone different from himself. There is wisdom in this approach that Celadonians have ignored. Jin watched the stars streak by through the viewport. Never in his 5 years as a cargo pilot had he imagined visiting the legendary Celadonian homeworld, a planet most humans only heard rumors about. 2 weeks later, the ship descended. Through pearly clouds, Jin's breath caught as he saw Celadonia for the first time. Crystal spires rose from the landscape, catching the light of the blue-white sun. The cities looked like they were made of ice and diamonds, with perfect geometric patterns. "It's beautiful," Jin whispered. Mina nodded. "We value perfection and order." The ship landed at a platform outside the capital city. A group of tall Celadonians waited, their faces showing no emotion. One stepped forward, older than the rest, wearing a silver robe. "I am Elder Suman of the High Council," she said. "Scientist, Mina, you have broken many protocols, and bringing a human here?" She looked at Jin as if he were a puzzle she couldn't solve. "I request the right to present my findings to the full council," Mina said formally. Elder Suman nodded once. "It is granted. Tomorrow." Jin was given a room in a crystal tower. Everything was clean, perfect, and cold. That night, Mina visited him. "Are you well?" she asked. Jin smiled. "Just nervous. Your people don't seem happy to see me." "They do not understand yet." Mina sat beside him. "Tomorrow I will try to explain what I have learned about humans. About you." The next day, Jin stood before the Celadonian High Council, 12 elders seated in a perfect circle. The room was filled with hundreds of Celadonians, all watching with those same black eyes. Mina stepped forward. "Respected council, I came to know this human when he saved my life at risk to his own. In our time together, I discovered something important." She paused. "We have misunderstood humans. We see their emotions as weakness, but they are strength." Murmurs spread through the crowd. When faced with dangerous space pirates, Jin made decisions no Celadonian would make. He took risks our logic would reject, yet he succeeded where our methods would have failed. Mina looked at Jin. "Humans can see patterns we miss. They call it intuition. They can create connections we overlook. They call it imagination." Elder Suman leaned forward. "You suggest we have something to learn from humans? Their societies are chaotic, inefficient." "Yes," Mina agreed, "but they are also innovative, adaptable, and kind. When logic said to leave, me to die, human compassion said to save me." For 3 hours, the council questioned Mina and Jin. The other Celadonians watched, their expressions changing subtly, something Jin had never seen before. Finally, Elder Suman stood. "We will consider your words. For now, the human may remain as our guest." In the weeks that followed, Jin became a reluctant ambassador. Celadonians came to ask him questions about Earth, about human feelings, about why he had saved Mina. Slowly, things began to change. Some Celadonians started adding color to their clothing. Others began to gather in the evening to listen to Jin tell stories, something they had never done before. 6 months later, Jin stood beside Mina in the High Council chamber again. This time, human representatives stood with them, diplomats, sent from Earth after hearing about the unprecedented contact. "Today we sign the first treaty between our worlds," Elder Suman announced. She looked at Jin and Mina. "Because 2 individuals chose to see beyond their differences, our species begin a new path together." After the ceremony, Jin and Mina walked in the gardens outside the crystal towers. Plants with blue and silver leaves swayed in the breeze. "What happens now?" Jin asked. "The council has appointed me ambassador to Earth," Mina replied. "I will need a guide who understands both worlds." Jin smiled. "I might know someone." Mina's hand found his, 6 fingers intertwining with 5. "I have experienced something new since meeting you," she said softly. "Something Celadonians are not supposed to feel." "What's that?" "I believe humans call it love." Jin looked up at the alien sky, so different from Earth's, yet beautiful in its own way. Just like Mina. Just like their unexpected bond. "Sometimes," he said, "the universe knows what it's doing, bringing different worlds together." For the first time, Jin saw Mina truly smile, a human expression on a Celadonian face, a bridge between worlds just like they were. Tay snorted. "A Celadonian? They wouldn't lift a finger to help you if the situation was reversed. They're cold as ice." No feelings, no compassion. Jin noticed Mina watching them closely. She's right here, Tay. Show some respect. Tay looked at Mina and shrugged. No offense meant. It's just a fact. Celadonians care about logic and efficiency. They think our emotions make us weak. After they left, Mina was quiet for a long time. Your colleague is not wrong, she finally said. This is how my people see humans. This is how I saw humans. She looked at Jin. But you saved me when there was no benefit to you. This does not match what I was taught. Perhaps there's more to learn about each other, Jin said. 3 days. Later, Mina stood beside Jin on the bridge of the Star Runner. Dr. Hana had cleared her to travel, and the Celadonian embassy had agreed she could wait with Jin until their representative arrived. As the ship pulled away from the station, Mina looked out at the stars. I have never traveled with a human before. My people will not understand this choice. Jin smiled. Sometimes we need to make choices others don't understand. The Star Runner accelerated into deep space, carrying its unusual crew toward Colony 5 and whatever awaited them there. Life aboard the Star Runner settled into a strange rhythm. Jin worked at his pilot's console, guiding the ship through the stars, while Mina observed everything with curious eyes. Her wound had healed well, leaving only a faint blue mark on her side. One morning, Jin found Mina in his personal quarters, holding the small wooden carving his grandmother had given him years ago. The carving showed a traditional Korean tiger, its details worn smooth from years of handling. What purpose does this serve? Mina asked, turning the tiger in her 6-fingered hands. Jin leaned against the doorway. It doesn't have a purpose, not like a tool. It was a gift from my grandmother before she died. Mina's black eyes studied the carving. But it has no function. It takes up space. It is inefficient. Jin walked over and gently took the tiger. Not. Everything needs to be useful. This reminds me of my grandmother. When I look at it, I remember her stories, her smile. Memory storage, Mina said, as if trying to categorize the object. But your brain stores memories. It's more than that. Jin placed the tiger back on its shelf. It's about connection, about feeling close to someone who's gone. Mina's head tilted slightly. Celadonians do not keep such things. When someone completes their life cycle, we honor their achievements, then move forward. Efficiency demands it. Later that day, Jin showed Mina how to prepare a simple meal in the ship's small kitchen. She watched carefully as he chopped vegetables. You could use the food processor, she pointed out. It would be 17% faster. Jin smiled. I like chopping by hand. It's relaxing. Relaxing. Mina repeated the word. You mean it reduces stress hormones in your system? Something like that? Jin added the vegetables to the pot. Don't Celadonians ever do things just because they enjoy them? Enjoyment is not a priority, Mina said. Efficiency, knowledge, progress. These are priorities. They ate together in the small dining area. Jin noticed Mina watching how he ate, then copying his movements. Your food has many spices, she commented. Celadonian meals are balanced for nutrition, not taste. That sounds boring, Jin said. Boring is a human concept. We eat to live, not for pleasure. Jin shook his head. You're missing out. That night, as Jin checked their course to Colony 5, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. The radar showed 3 small vessels approaching rapidly. Space pirates, Jin muttered, his hands flying over the controls. Computer, evasive maneuvers. Mina rushed onto the bridge. What is happening? Pirates. They target cargo ships like mine. Jin's face was grim as he accelerated the engines. Sit down and strap in. This could get rough. The ship lurched as Jin steered sharply away from their attackers. The console lit up with warning lights as the pirates began firing. They're trying to disable our engines, Jin explained, his voice calm despite the danger. If they succeed, they'll board us, take the cargo, maybe the ship too. A blast hit the Star Runner, making the lights flicker. Jin quickly rerouted power to the shields. "Can we escape?" Mina asked, her voice steady. "Working on it." Jin's hands never stopped moving across the controls. "There's an asteroid field nearby. If we can reach it, we might lose them." Another hit rocked the ship. A panel exploded in sparks, and Jin was thrown from his seat. Blood trickled from a cut on his forehead, but he immediately climbed back to the controls. Mina watched, in fascination. "You are injured, yet you continue." "No choice," Jin said through gritted teeth. He steered the ship toward a dense cluster of asteroids ahead. The pirates followed, firing continuously. Jin's flying became increasingly bold as he weaved between the massive space rocks, using them as shields against the attackers' weapons. One pirate ship crashed into an asteroid. The second veered away after nearly colliding with a spinning rock. The third continued the pursuit but was falling behind. "Your flying is not logical," Mina observed, her eyes wide. "The risks you take should result in our destruction. Yet, they do not." Jin smiled despite the tension. "It's called intuition. Sometimes you just feel the right move." Finally, they emerged from the asteroid field alone. The pirates had given up the chase. As Jin set a new course for Colony 5, he noticed Mina still watching him. "What are you thinking?" he asked. "My people believe human emotion makes you weak, unpredictable, dangerous," she said slowly. "But today, your emotional responses, courage, determination, they saved us. This contradicts our understanding." Jin wiped the blood from his forehead. "Maybe there's more to humans than Celadonians have noticed." "Perhaps," Mina agreed. For the first time, Jin saw something new in her expression, something that looked almost like wonder. The Star Runner limped through space, its engines damaged from the pirate attack. Jin had managed to make it to Colony 5 and deliver his cargo, but the ship needed major repairs. As they left the colony, warning lights flashed across the control panel. "We need to find somewhere to land," Jin said, studying the ship's diagnostics. "The engine won't hold much longer." Mina stood beside him, looking at the star map. "There is a planet nearby, uninhabited, but with breathable atmosphere." Jin nodded and changed course. The Star Runner shuddered as they entered the planet's atmosphere. Jin fought with the controls, trying to keep the ship steady as they descended toward a flat area, surrounded by strange purple trees. The landing was rough. The ship bounced once, twice, before settling on the ground with a groan of metal. Jin let out a long breath. "Not my best landing, but we're alive." They stepped outside into the alien world. The air was warm and smelled like cinnamon. 2 suns hung in the sky, one large and orange, the other smaller and pale blue. Around them stretched forests of purple-leaved trees and fields of silver, grass that whispered in the breeze. "The damage is worse than I thought," Jin said after examining the engines. "We don't have the parts to fix it." "Can you call for help?" Mina asked. Jin shook his head. "The communication system was damaged in the attack. We can receive signals but not send them." For the next 3 days they worked together to set up a camp near the ship. Jin taught Mina how to fish in a nearby stream, while she showed him which plants were safe to eat based on her scientific knowledge. At night they sat by a small fire, talking. Jin told stories about Earth, his childhood in Korea, and his dreams of exploring the galaxy. Mina spoke of Celadonia, its crystal cities, and great libraries of knowledge. "Why did you become a scientist?" Jin asked one evening. "I'll write a 800-word story for Part 1, first contact in third-person style, using simple English and Korean names as requested. Human rescues alien girl, sparking an unlikely romance." The quiet hum of the ship's engine was the only sound Captain Jin had heard for days. The tall, broad-shouldered man with short black hair stared at the control panel of his cargo ship, the Star Runner. Jin was on his way to deliver medical supplies to Colony 5, a small human settlement on the edge of known space. Jin liked the quiet of space. After 5 years as a cargo pilot, he enjoyed being alone with his thoughts. His small living space was neat and simple. A wooden carving from his grandmother sat next to his bed. It was his only personal item. The alarm broke the silence. Jin jumped to attention, his eyes scanning the alert on his screen. Unknown vessel detected, possible distress signal. Jin checked his radar. He was still 3 days from Colony 5, and going off course would mean being late. The company wouldn't like that, but someone might need help. Computer, change course to check the unknown vessel, Jin ordered. As the Star Runner got closer, Jin saw a ship unlike any he had seen before. It was smaller than his cargo ship, with a strange blue-green metal shell. Parts of it looked damaged. No human design, Jin muttered to himself. He had heard stories of alien races but had never met one himself. Most kept to themselves, staying in their own areas of space. Jin carefully brought his ship alongside the damaged vessel. Using his ship's scanner, he checked for life forms inside. There was one faint life sign. Someone was still alive in there. Jin put on his spacesuit and grabbed his emergency medical kit. Computer, keep the engines running. I'll be back soon. He made his way across to the alien ship, using his magnetic boots to walk along its outer shell. Finding what looked like an entry point, Jin used his tools to open the door. Inside, the air was breathable but had a strange sweet smell. The lights flickered weakly, casting shadows across the strange curved walls. Jin moved carefully through the ship, following his scanner toward the life sign. In what seemed to be the control room, he found her. An alien, but surprisingly human-like in appearance. She lay on the floor, blue blood seeping from a wound on her side. Her skin had a pale blue tint, and her hair was white as snow. Her eyes were closed. Jin knelt beside her, opening his medical kit. "Hello, can you hear me?" he asked, not expecting her to understand. Her eyes snapped open, large, completely black eyes that seemed to look through him. She spoke, her voice musical but her words making no sense to Jin. "I don't understand, but I'm here to help," Jin said slowly, pointing to himself and then to her wound. The alien woman tried to move away, fear clear in her expression. Jin held up his hands to show he meant no harm. "My name is Jin," he said, pointing to himself. "Jin." The alien seemed to understand the gesture. She placed a 6-fingered hand on her chest. "Mina," she said softly. Jin smiled and nodded. "Mina, I'm going to help you." He took out his medical scanner and ran it over her wound. The device beeped in confusion. Her biology was different from human anatomy. Jin would have to rely on basic first aid principles. The wound was still bleeding. Jin cleaned it carefully and applied a sealing bandage that would work on any type of skin. Mina winced, but didn't pull away. "Your ship is badly damaged," Jin explained, using hand gestures to show a broken ship. "You need to come with me." He pointed to himself, then to her, then toward his ship. Mina's eyes showed understanding, but also hesitation. After a moment, she nodded slowly. Jin helped her stand. She was lighter than he expected, and tall, nearly his height. She leaned against him as they made their way back to his ship. Once aboard the Star Runner, Jin set up the medical bed in his cargo hold. He gave Mina water, which she drank eagerly after testing it with a small device from her pocket. "Computer, change course to the nearest medical station," Jin ordered. "Warning. Changing course will result in late delivery to Colony 5. Penalty charges may apply," the computer responded. Jin looked at Mina, who was watching him with curious eyes. "It doesn't matter. Set new course." That night, as his ship traveled toward the medical station, Jin sat beside Mina's bed. She was sleeping now, her breathing steady. Jin had many questions. Where did she come from? What happened to her ship? Could they learn to communicate? One thing was clear. His simple delivery job had just become much more complicated. As he watched the stars stream by through the viewport, Jin wondered what this encounter would mean for him, for Mina, and perhaps for their two species. I'll write an 800-word continuation of the story for Part 2, Cultural Divide, using simple English and maintaining the third-person style. The bright lights of Orion Medical Station seemed to burn Mina's eyes. Jin watched as she squinted and held up her hand to shield her face. The station's medical team had rushed them both into a special room as soon as they arrived. "This is extraordinary," said Dr. Hana, a short woman with kind eyes. "We have never treated a Celadonian before." Jin looked surprised. "You know what she is?" Dr. Hana nodded. "Celadonians are known to us, but they rarely interact with humans. They keep to themselves in the Rigel system." Mina lay on the examination table, her eyes darting nervously between the humans. The medical team had attached a small device to her throat. After a few minutes, it beeped. "The translator should work now," Dr. Hana explained. "It's basic, but it will help us communicate." Jin stepped closer to Mina. "Can you understand me now?" Mina's black eyes widened. "Yes. Your words make sense." Her voice sounded metallic, through the translator. "You are the one who saved me?" "Yes, I'm Jin. I found your ship drifting in space. I am Mina of the 3rd Science Fleet. My ship was attacked by raiders while I was collecting data on space anomalies." She tried to sit up but winced in pain. "Please rest," Dr. Hana said. "Your wound is healing, but you need time." Later that day, Jin sat beside Mina's bed. The medical staff had moved her to a recovery room with soft blue lights that seemed to make her more comfortable. "Why did you help me?" Mina asked suddenly. "You had no logical reason to do so." Jin thought for a moment. "It was the right thing to do. Anyone would have helped." "No," Mina said firmly. "A Celadonian would not have helped unless there was clear benefit. You risked your delivery and your job. It was not logical." Jin smiled. "Humans don't always make decisions based on logic." "Yes. This is why Celadonians avoid humans. You are..." She seemed to search for the right word. "Unpredictable, dangerous." Jin raised his eyebrows. "We're dangerous because we help people?" "You are dangerous because you act on feelings rather than reason. Today you help. Tomorrow, who knows? Feelings change. Logic does not." Dr. Hana entered the room, interrupting their conversation. "I have contacted the Celadonian embassy," she said. "They were surprised to hear about you, Mina. They say no. Celadonians are supposed to be in this sector." Mina looked away. "My research mission was not approved by the High Council. I came here alone." "Well, they're sending someone to pick you up. They'll be here in about 2 weeks." After Dr. Hana left, Jin turned to Mina. 2 weeks is a long time. What will you do?" "Wait, I suppose. My ship is destroyed." Jin thought for a moment. "I need to finish my delivery to Colony 5. It's only 3 days away. Then I have other jobs in this sector." He paused. "You could come with me until your people arrive." Mina's expression was hard to read. "Travel with a human? This is not done." "Maybe it's time for something new," Jin suggested. The next morning, 3 humans entered the recovery room while Jin was visiting. They wore the uniform of the cargo company Jin worked for. "Captain Jin," said the oldest of the 3, a man named Tae. "Word has spread about your alien passenger. The company is not happy about the delayed delivery." "I couldn't leave her to die," Jin replied calmly.